Alright guys, I'm excited to show you my bug out bag. There's a lot of reasons why we ought to be prepared and be ready, especially with the things that are happening in the last little while with natural disasters. We've had fires up and down California with evacuations being mandatory, some of them. We've had a lot of floods with Harvey and floods coming up with Irma. A lot of these natural disasters, there's even some earthquakes, a lot of earthquakes up in the Midwest, Idaho, Utah area I mean. And just a major need for people to be ready to grab and go if they need to. Also, some people were stuck in their homes. So in the floods, they were stuck there, they couldn't leave, they had to stay in their homes for a little while. So that's what's called bugging in. Bugging in is where you stay, there's an emergency, disaster, something that happens that you're stuck in your house and you can't leave. Bugging out is when you grab your stuff and go somewhere safer because your home or your dwelling is not safe. So what I'm going to do is just go through my bug out bag, but before I do that, I wanted to show a couple things that I do all the time. I carry with me wherever I go. First thing is this paracord bracelet. It's got a flint and steel in the middle here, and it's got a sharp tool here that detaches, and I can actually flint this here and start a fire. Magnesium flint there. It also has a whistle on it for safety, and in case I get lost, I can use that to help notify people. Also, I always carry with me a knife. This is my EDC knife. EDC means everyday carry. It folds out like this. It's also got a window breaker on one end and a seatbelt cutter over here as well. So in case I'm stuck in my car, I can get out of my car quickly. A lot of the people in Harvey were stuck in their cars. They had to be rescued. They had to be ripped out of seatbelts, to be cut, windows broken. There was one particular scene I saw where a guy had a big old piece of cement or a rock. He was smashing in a back window to be able to get in to save somebody. Well, if that person had a window breaker in their car, they could just pop the window and break that window and get out safely. They could also cut the seatbelt with this window cutter, the seatbelt cutter, I mean, and get out and get to safety more quickly. So those are things I carry with me all the time. Also on my keychain, I have a flashlight. So I have with me all the time, every day. I have a pair of cords, 10 feet of paracord. I've got a flint fire starter, something to keep me warm. I got a whistle for notification. I have a flashlight, and I also have a knife, pocket knife. There's dozens and dozens of uses for pocket knives to keep safe and to be safe. In the event that I go out of town, I drive out of town, I put this bag that I'm about to show you in my trunk. If I'm going to be far away, if I'm going to be within walking distance of less than half a day or a day of my home, on any appointments or any things that I do, I don't necessarily feel like I have to take it. But if I'm going to be more than, say, 30 or 40 miles from my home, I want to keep this and have this in my trunk in case I ever need it. So just a couple things I want to show you. This is my right here. This is my actual backpack that I carry. This is a Condor bag. It's their 3-day assault pack. There's a lot of equivalent bags out there that are really good. This has a strap for my waist. It's got a strap for my shoulders clearly. It's got straps going across to keep me from having the burden of the weight. If you have the weight constantly on your back, these can get really heavy really quickly. So if you constantly have weight on your shoulders, it can wear you out and wear you down more quickly. That's why it's good to have a bag with a waist strap, a waist padding, so that you can help distribute the weight on your back. But this bag has plenty of pouches and bags and places to put things. It's got extra webbing on the back. This is called MOLLE, M-O-L-L-E, MOLLE webbing, and this allows you to take carabiners like this, and you can strap things to it on the outside of it. There's also I've got some other straps, like these straps here, that you can also strap things to the outside of it to give you more room. I've also got these bungee cords. These are really good bungee cords that I have. These will allow me to strap things to the bag on the outside of the bag, in case if my bag gets full, so that I can have more things that I'm taking with me. So really quickly, if I need to stay in my home for any reason, if I'm bugging in, I have a 72-hour kit of food here. If I'm going to be near my home or in my home, I always have in my home a really good first aid kit. I'll show you the first aid kit, or I'll talk a little bit about the first aid kit that I have in my bag if I need to bail. But if I'm going to be able to have some time to grab and go and get a few things, I actually have a full-blown medic kit, and this has everything in it to do pretty much anything you'd need to do, even up to mild, or not that I would know how to do it, but you can do, apparently you can do mild surgery. It's got tourniquets, it's got everything I need in there. Really good bag, really good gear to have. So some of the things that I have in my backpack, I have a different one actually in my bag, but this is an example. This is actually a bladder, what's called a bladder, and you stick this in your bag, and you have the tube come up around like this, and you can drink as you're hiking or traversing or going anywhere. These are really good to have. This is 3 liter. This is from LA Police Gear. For those of you that are in my Facebook group, you've seen me promote LA Police Gear stuff. They have really good quality stuff. That's a really good place to get it. They're not very expensive there. So water is critical if you're going to have or need to be out and about running around. So having that's not full right now, but I have water bottles and other things that I can quickly fill it if I need to, so that it can be full and ready to go, and I can have that and probably last a good 2 days with that bladder, just sipping on it regularly, not being totally, not draining it all at once. But in the event that I do run out of water and I need to have other water, I have a life straw, and this is something that filters water. So as I'm out and about, maybe in a creek or in a canal or something, even as dirty as the water got in Harvey, in Houston, and that area, these can filter most everything out of that water, and people who have these types of things in those situations will be able to have plenty of water to drink. Just in case, I always carry multiple. Redundancy is critical in safety, and although being too redundant, there is a point of diminishing returns, but I'll tell you, I have another kit here. This is a Sawyer filter kit. So I've got the life straw, I've got the Sawyer kit, and then I also have the water tabs. So if I get a container that I can fill with water, throw these tabs in there. These tabs will, in 30 minutes, they purify the water. So I have also in my kit some ibuprofen, some Tylenol. That's good in case you need it. I also have in my kit some, these are mild weapons. This is a pepper spray. So in the event of anybody, as I'm out and about or trying to get to safety, a lot of times, unfortunately, disasters and other things bring out the worst in people. So it's a good idea to have some things to help keep you safe. And I don't want to be lethal if I don't have to be. So it's good I have some pepper sprays to be able to be non-lethal and then still get the message and be safe myself. I also have a, this is a taser, I think. It's called a taser. Anyways, it's also something that's useful for self-defense, to keep yourself safe. And that's electric, of course. And I have here a compass. It's always good to have a compass. One of the big problems when you get lost, or if you're lost in the wilderness, is not that you don't have the ability to maybe survive for a little while, but a lot of people will go in circles. They'll actually end up, they found that a lot of people who get lost in the wilderness will end up finding out that they just went in one big circle, where a compass keeps you going in a straight line. You know which way's north, you know which way's south, east, west, those things. And that way you can kind of guide, make sure you're actually going in a straight line and you're making progress to where you want to go. There's a lot of great orienteering courses. Orienteering is the ability to use and know how to use a compass. That's what it's called. So if you want to know how to use a compass, look for orienteering online courses. Those are good. I also have in my kit a really nice set of binoculars. This isn't the most fancy binoculars you can get, but it's I think they're 16 by 32 set of binoculars. So as you come to a ridge or you come to an area where you maybe need to look and make sure you're safe before you move forward, these binoculars allow you the opportunity to kind of get a good idea of what you're headed into or where you're headed. Something that's critical is also having a multi-tool. And so I have a Gerber. I chose Gerber. There's a lot of good quality products out there. Leatherman makes a really good one. I chose Gerber because it had a good name and it had a lot of the tools that you need. But this is a multi-tool. That's almost every tool that you can imagine, all in one little container right here. It's got screwdrivers, it's got knives, it's got pliers, it's got Phillips heads, it's got scissors. Pretty much anything that you would need to. It's got a saw to be able to do some work and to keep yourself in a position where you can actually use and do some good. I also have here in my kit, this is a handheld saw. Basically what you do is you wrap this saw around a trunk of a tree or a branch, and you just, like this, and let me just undo it here. You wrap this saw around the trunk of a tree, and you pull it back and forth like this, and it will cut through and create an opportunity for you to, one, get through if you're obstructed by something that's much bigger than you can hack with a knife or hack with a small hatchet. This will get you through it a little quicker, but it will also help you gather firewood. In the event that you found a place to stay that's safe and you need to go gather firewood, this is a great way for you to cut down or to kind of make smaller some of the branches or debris that might get in your way, so that you can make that and use that as kindling for a fire. So that's really good. It's always important to have lights. I have a really nice light here. This light is actually rechargeable. It's up to, I think it's up to 1,000 lumens. And it's got 4 or 5 settings. It's got strobe light as well, because strobe lights are good, strobe lights are also good for self-defense, but they're also good for signaling. So self-defense is if you shine in someone's eyes really fast, that strobe will disorient them and allow you to get to safety or get away and be safe. This is a headlamp. Headlamps are fantastic to have. It allows you to have a light but then be hands-free. So you can strap it on your head and you can do pretty much all your work and have the light up here giving you the light you need and have your hands free from that. So this is a handheld device. It's got a clip on it, so you can clip it somewhere and move forward. So that's this side. On this, so we talked a little bit about water, a little bit about keeping yourself safe with some orienteering, some binoculars. This stuff up here is all my fire starter stuff. I've got a lot of ferro rods. I got a little baggie of small ferro rods. What these do is you strike them and they create a spark, and then that spark starts a fire for you. I've got several of these, and this is ferro and magnesium. The magnesium will start a fire in wet conditions, so that's really fantastic. These came from Rocky Mountain Fire Starters, I think's his name. I'm sorry if I messed up your name, but if you want to know where the fire starters, I'll probably put it in the link so that you can kind of get some of this material if you'd like. Most of this stuff I bought on Amazon, but there are a few things where I've gotten from some other places. This particular product I got at the PrepperCon I went to in Utah. And so anyways, this is for dry on the black, the ferro rod's for dry, and the silver here is called magnesium, and that's for wet material. It allows you to actually create fire. Actually, it's hotter when it's wet, strangely enough. This is a large ferro rod. I probably have enough ferro rod here to last me probably years of starting fires. But in the event, I also have waterproof matches, and then in this baggie there's kindling. If I can't find kindling, if I can't find wood or leaves or pine needles or small sticks or twigs, I've got several things here for kindling. This here is a signaling mirror. It allows me to, has a star in the middle. I don't know if you can see it from there in the angle, but there's a star in the middle that you put your eye through. As you locate whatever you're signaling, chopper, helicopter or plane, put your eye up to that like that, and then you kind of look that. It should notify that. That should give you the idea to signal that plane. I've got whetstone for sharpening my knives. I've got 2 of those, just different kinds. This particular one is a really good whetstone. This one is work sharp. Probably should have had a better idea of which of the products I'm using, but anyways, we'll link those up a little bit. This is a blanket, a Mylar blanket, emergency blanket. Actually, I think this one is an emergency sleeping bag. This one here is the emergency blanket. Yeah, this one's the blanket, and this one is an emergency sleeping bag. The difference is this one is designed to just be flat, and this one is actually designed to wrap around you. I've got iostat. This is for radiation in the event of a nuclear anything. This will help. You take this. It's not designed to stop it, but if you're running from the nuclear blast and you're within the radius, this will help you at least keep your body safe until you continue to run out of the radius and get to safety. I've got these are some small traps to use for trapping. If you're going to be an extended period where you're going to be gone from your place and you're out in the wilderness or woods and you need to be able to find and catch food, I decided that I needed to get some of this trap so that I could capture my own food. I got a notebook to kind of keep a log of what's going on, what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, what's happening, and kind of what's working and what's not. As I'm out in the woods, I've got deodorant, because you never know when you're going to meet somebody else who's lost and not want to kill them with your smell. We've got some soap. We've got a really cheap emergency rain poncho. Got some shampoo, toothbrush, toothpaste. This here is a skinning knife, so for fishing, you can see I can do that. It's also a gutting, in case I do capture anything that's gonna rip the fur off of it. So this is also a gutting and a knife for after hunting. I don't know if you can see my helper over here, but she's helping. She helped me put all this stuff out on the table, so she wants to be a part of the video. This is a really neat thing that I bought from a company in Canada. What this basically does, it turns any bottle into a spigot and allows you to have the water come out more slowly. So basically, this spigot here goes up and down, and the water will stop. It'll stop the water from spilling out, but then as you pick it up, the water comes out, and then it stops it. That comes out, stops it, so you can turn any bottle into a spigot. That's really helpful for water conservation. This, of course, is my Coleman 3 rolls of toilet paper. So I have 3 rolls of toilet paper here. You want to be able to make that last as long as possible, so you're not wiping with leaves. I don't look forward to that at all. Bugs, this is off. I have another over here. I have 2 repelling for bugs, 2 different repelling liquids, sprays, canisters. So those are good to have if you don't want bugs walking all over you. More sharpening for knives sharpening, and this is a bunch of the ties you get at the grocery store. I just figure it's better to have them in my pack in case I need to tie anything down real quick, or just have something temporarily put down, or even for any reason at all that you might need to have a tie. So I bought a bunch of those in there just in case. I got a bunch of lights. I got 6 of these in my pack of the snap lights, but I did buy quite a few of them on Amazon. I bought a big bundle of them. These are the yellow ones. These are the green ones. I have another bundle of green ones in here as well, in my bigger area here. So I have my backpack for grab and go. If I have time, I want to grab and go in my backpack, and then I've got a little box here that I can throw in the car with more supplies that will give me even longer ability to survive out in the wild. These up here are flint. These are ferro rods, manually starting fires. I believe in having multiple opportunities to be able to do things. Redundancy, again, is critical. So I purchased what's called a solar or a magnifying glass. This will start a fire this can start a fire on a 2x4. So most of these you have to have smaller, lighter stuff that's going to be able to light fire quickly, like kindling, leaves, small twigs, things like that. Bark, you can start with a ferro rod really quickly. But this can actually start a fire so hot, it gets the wood so hot, you can start a fire right on a 2x4. I've watched it happen. I saw it happen. I've tried it myself in the sun. I lit some stuff on fire in the backyard, and it went up fast. So I also have something to pass the time. One of the things they're asking for, like right now in Harvey, with Harvey and all the people that are in the different places of refuge, they are asking for some of the donations to be toys, things that kids can play with. So I put a deck of cards, and I also put this is called the night sky. What this allows me to do is kind of do a little bit of astronomy, a little bit of stargazing at night. This is a neat little wheel that shows me different constellations. Just something to do to pass the time when you're out with nothing to do. I've got some hand warmers in here as well. I've got several of them. You put them in your bag, your pack, your feet, your shoes, you put them in your socks, whatever you can to keep yourself warm. Just another version of the same thing, hand warmers. Over here I've got these are pots and pans and plates, cups. There's even a wooden kind of a spatula, fork, spoon, stirring stick in here that's actually designed for that, not just some stick I found on the side of the road, by the way. Alright, so I also have right here a knife. This is a survival knife. It's with Schrade. Schrade is spelled S-C-H-R-A-D-E. They have really high, what I feel like are quality blades for economic. They're they're really economic. They got a great price. I try to get as best of quality I can for a good price. These blades are good because they're strong enough to be able to chop and hack and do a little machete work, what they call wood processing. What that means is that if you have a piece of wood and you don't want to use that saw I shared earlier, you can hack that piece of wood down to a smaller size, and then also you can use this blade for pretty much anything you'd need a survival knife for. as well. So even more intricate, smaller work can be done with these blades as well. You can use it to carve sticks if you want to do spear fishing. You can cut blades and chop wood down to have a walking stick, things like that. I also have some bandanas in here. These bandanas are good for keeping yourself cool. You can wet them, keep yourself cool, keep yourself protected from the sun. A lot of good uses for bandanas. I have 2 of those in here. I have 150 feet of paracord. This is, I actually have another 20 or so feet over here, but it's good to have rope. This is paracord, 550 paracord that I purchased. This is some of the some really high quality stuff that's not very heavy, not very bulky. So it's a lot of it gives you a lot of versatility with that. I've got some work gloves in case I need to do some work. Want to protect my hands. I've got a hat that I carry in my 72-hour in my bug out bag. I've got some glasses that allow me to keep my eyes shaded. I've got these are there's multiple uses for these. These are brought by SA Company. I don't have any sponsorships, so I'm just mentioning what I do and what I buy from. But these are basically, you can put these over your head, and they can become neck. They can become like this, where you can keep yourself protected from the elements. It's a nice way to keep dust, wind, anything kicked up in your face out of your face. It's almost like a filter, but not totally, because it's not that thick. It just keeps debris and stuff out of your nose. Headband can be used as a headband. It can be used as something to tie something. There's just multiple uses for stuff like that. This is a shmiga, same kind of thing. This allows you to have protection from the sun, protection from the elements, wrap your head. This can be a shawl, it can be something that you wrap someone, if you've come across somebody with a broken arm. This can be used as a way to kind of help them with that, keep that safe. There's a lot of uses for these things as well. Usually they're something that you wrap around your head and use as a hood to protect your head and neck and ears and face from the elements. I have 3 days worth of food in the pack as well. This is a 3-day ration pack, so this gives you 3 days worth of food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days. It's just a bar, 36. It's a 400 calorie bar, so 1,200 calories a day, 3,600 calories in this bar here. We've done a lot of group buys for that. Right here I have a poncho. This is a really nice poncho. It's something that I really felt like could be multi-use. So I bought a high quality one. This is one, the guys told me that they sell a lot of these actually to military personnel. And what this does, it's got the grommets in the corners, so it can be used as a tarp. It can be used as a ground cover. It can be used as a poncho. It can be used as a tent cover. So you've got a lot of uses for this because it's such high quality material. It's really durable and it's going to last. And so I got one of those for each member of my family as well. Those are really good to have in your bag. This right here is a stove, portable stove. What this allows you to do is obviously create an opportunity to cook any foods you have or foods you carry. This comes in a lot of pieces, and you pull it out and set it up. This comes with it. It's the brand is OHUH. Oh goodness sakes, OHUHO. Anyways, this particular piece is a covering, a wind block. So you just basically what you do is you set up the stove, and then you put the wind block around it so that it continue to burn and cook your food, and that weather, wind, other things, rain, stuff like that can't get in there and blow out your fire. This is something that there's a lot of people that will tell you to get fuel, fire for stoves that have fuel. I feel like you can run out of fuel if you're out for too long. If you have to survive for more than a few days, you may not have enough fuel. So I bought a stove that allows me to cook and using twigs and leaves and bark to burn underneath the stove, because there should be no shortage of wood or bark or other materials. I also have over here, this is a slingshot, and this is good for hunting small things like squirrels, maybe some rabbits, stuff like that. So this is if I can get it out, I'll show you. It's a slingshot, wrist rocket, if you will, and I've got a lot of pellets over here. These hurt if you get hit with them. So these are just for hunting small things, squirrels and other small little game, just to keep, if you need to eat, this is a good thing to have. I have this in our kits so that we can be able to get some food if we need it for that. I also have I have a saw. This is a really high quality saw. So in the event that my other blade doesn't work, in the event that my knife isn't maybe sharp, I can still use a saw. Again, redundancy, but sometimes each one of these has their own it does have a use. It does have some necessity for that would be valuable. I have some smaller knives too that can kind of attach to my pack so that I don't have to use the big knife if I don't want to. I have a shovel as well. This is a small pack shovel. So this folds up, folds out, and becomes a really nice tool. It becomes a pick on this end and a shovel on this end, and you can use that to, if I can fold it back properly, you can use that to dig holes for your fire, dig holes for an outhouse, place to go into the restroom and keep your environment relatively, be relatively environmentally friendly when you're out doing that. I also have these bio wipes, so these are good for the event that there's no real place to shower or bathe. Bio wipes allow you to use you can use these to wipe your bottom for the bathroom, or you can actually use these as well to wipe your body down so that you can kind of take a dry bath or a bath with wipes. So those are really good. They're kind of reminiscent of baby wipes, but they're a little bit different so that you can use them for a bunch of different things. So that's pretty much my 72-hour kit. I also have survival tablets. These are just vitamins. They go into tablets. These allow you to have some of the nutrition that you make sure you need to have. You know, you get to eating berries or you're eating too many squirrels or whatnot, you need to have some vitamins too. These are really good. Little, they don't have a lot of calories, so it's not designed to live off of, but it gives you some of the nutrition, and they're chewable, and they give you the opportunity to have some of that nutrition come into your body. I do have some other things. These are like seeds in case I have to grow a garden somewhere where I am. I try to think of everything I can. This is an N95 mask, so these are good as well if you get a lot of stuff in the air, a lot of chemicals, a lot of stuff that's being sprayed. If you need to have a little bit of just breathe fresh, clean air. These are an N95, so they're high quality masks. These are kind of the bare minimum recommended for stopping most airborne diseases, flus, epidemics, things like that can break out. These are kind of the standard for that. The bottom, the lowest end for that. There's ones that are more valuable than that, more expensive, I should say. I also have a solar powered charger. This is solar powered, so it can fill up and then you can charge. It takes a while to do. These ones aren't fantastic. It does take a long time for them to actually fill up, but you leave it out for a day and at least gives you a charge of your cell phone, charge something that gives you at least an opportunity to have some kind of power. I do have a better one that I didn't bring that I have that's really good. It's fantastic. It's USB and it's really good, and that one I carry around too with me. That was one I would strap to my bag with one of these bungee cords that I shared earlier. Just in the event that I have enough time to grab my bigger bag, I do have a foldable, this is a collapsible bow. So I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to bring it out, but this is a collapsible bow, and I have 3 arrows that go with it so that I can use that in the event that I need to hunt and get some food if I'm out in the wilderness even deeper than I wanted to be, or longer than I wanted to be. I also have more saws. I have a large family, so for me it's important to have multiple things so that everybody has a job. I can send my kids to do something and they won't look at me like, we don't have a saw, we don't have a whatever. So I went a little overboard on some of the stuff that some of you might want or need. Again, something to remember that no 72-hour kit is there's not one 72-hour kit that's perfect for everybody. Get the things that you feel good about, that you feel like you will use, that you want to do and you want to have in your kit, and then put those in there. There are some standard things, like you want to have something for water, you want to have something for fire, you want to have a good knife, you want to have something for shelter, you want to keep yourself protected from the elements, so you want to have some of these things. Whatever you decide to do or use for those purposes is up to you. I chose to have, oh, one more thing I didn't see. I have a sewing kit, different, there's a needle, thread, and other things. And I also have a fishing kit. This is a fishing kit. It's got a bunch of hooks in here and other things for fishing. So I tried to remember everything I could think of. If you guys have anything in your kits that I missed that you think would be of value to add, make a comment or a remark, and we'll talk about it. But that's pretty much my 72-hour kit, my bug out bag. I recommend that everybody have a good, high quality bag. I'm going to right now. Actually, I have an order. We're having a group buy bulk order on a first aid kits that are a little bit more for traveling. So they're first aid kits for your car, first aid kits for your bug out bag. I didn't have a first aid kit, a full first aid kit just for my bag to grab and go. So that's why I'm doing this. Part of the reason why I'm doing this, so that everybody, that I have one, and that everyone who needs one gets one that I work with and deal with. So one last blade. This is more of a machete type blade. It's good to have multiple blades, different sizes for different types of work. This one is also a straight blade. This one is definitely more on the machete side of things. This one can really process wood really well. I really like it a lot because it has a thing right here that allows you to kind of keep it in your hand and not have it, so you can really whack and hack at things. In the event, this would replace an axe or a hatchet, and do this kind of the same work that an axe or hatchet would do, but because it's a knife, it allows you to do other things with it as well. So that's good for processing wood as well as other survival needs that you would have with a knife. Also, this duct tape is very good to have in case you need to wrap anything up. If anything breaks, cracks, snaps, whatever, duct tape. Anybody who remembers MacGyver will know it's always good to have duct tape. So I got duct tape in my 72-hour pack, my bug out bag as well. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you got something out of that. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything you want to talk about, just put it in the comments. And we'll see you next video. Thanks.